in our school, we have a teaching about wisdom. How, and this is very important because wisdom appears when our practice and our everyday life connect. But sometimes we need to lay it out a little bit intellectually. Then, if you practice, and have a big open mind, big question about, like, what is this? Then one day your experience and the intellectual teaching part, boom, come together. Then very clear. So our teaching about wisdom is there are 4 kinds of like this, 2 kinds of like just like this. So this is a very meticulous. What is like this? Like this means things the way they are, not my opinion. The Buddha was called Tathagata, suchness, just the way it is, okay? So what are these 4 kinds of like this? First, I'll read them, and then I'll show you, so you get a sense of what these words are pointing to. So we have 4 kinds of like this. First one is without like this. That's our true nature, okay? True self, universal substance, primary point. It's before thinking. And originally, it's silent and unmoving. This true nature never appears, never disappears. Wasn't born, doesn't die. And never increases or decreases. But it's completely beyond mental understanding because it's before thinking. So only connect through, in English we say, tacit understanding, experience. Then if you digest that experience, very clear. So without like this, true nature, universal substance, primary point, before thinking, silent, unmoving. Next, become one like this is demonstrating primary point. This original empty nature has a kind of, what might you say, mystical energy because true nature makes everything. So how do you demonstrate that? If you use speech and words, already mistake because true nature is before thinking. So how do you point to before thinking? Demonstrate before thinking. So in our school, that moment, if you have that mind inside, there's no inside, no outside, no subject, no object. Inside and outside become one. So all universal everything become one. So we call that become one like this. So originally, all universe, same nature. Okay, this nature is empty and unmoving. That's without like this. Demonstrate that nature, or Guji, or Linchi, ha! Or Daksan, hit the person, or Buddha, pick up a flower, or see a star. Okay, that's already without speech and words. There's a great saying by some eminent teacher, those who are enlightened by speech can fall back. Those who are enlightened through nature don't fall back. I don't know, but it's pointing to that before speech and words mind. Already you and the universe become one. Next, only like this. What we call only like this truth. If you keep this mind, then your body and mind become like a mirror because you're not holding any idea, any opposites thinking. So your body and mind just reflect, just like a mirror does. Red comes red, white comes white. You and the universe become one. You can see clearly. Your eye consciousness, and this world become one. So when you look at the sky, blue. When you see a cloud, white. When you hear a dog, woof, woof. When you put sugar in your mouth, sweet. even before those words, you already attained that experience. You attain truth. So Zen Master Seung would explain it by saying, only like this is truth. If you keep primary point, then when you see, when you hear, when you smell, when you taste or touch, all like this is truth. So that's kind of passive. It's just reflecting like a mirror. Mirror never holds anything, never makes anything. It just reflects. So this substance, whether we're demonstrating it or without like this, it's unmoving, okay? This name and form, if you have that mind deep inside, then this name and form world, which is always changing, is just reflected moment to moment, never holding anything. So you attain truth. Then one more step, just like this, is just doing, okay? Which means the teaching words are a correct life from moment to moment. Always keeping correct situation, correct relationship, correct function. So one more step, not only reflect, correct action. So not passive, correct action appears. So 4 kinds of like this, without like this, original nature, true substance, emptiness, still unmoving. Demonstrating this original substance, become one like this. Not use speech and words, okay? Then this must go inside into your actual experience. Otherwise, it's just another idea. Only like this, if you keep this mind, just reflect. When we're little kids, we have this mind very strongly. But as we grow, even when we're young, many desire, anger, ignorance, thinking, opposites, and everything come in. So even though we see blue sky, we don't just experience blue. All kinds of thinking going on. And that's true about everything in life. So practicing means returning, to this pure nature, not attaching to this opposite thinking karma that we've created life after life after life. Then our mind will just reflect. Then one more step, correct function appears. Name for correct function is great love, great compassion, great bodhisattva way. So what is that practically? Okay, this is a cup. If you say it's a cup, you're attached to its name and form. But originally it was clay and earth and maybe water or something. And then, somebody made it into this. Then it was a cup. But one day it's broken and it's used to be a cup, So if you say it's a cup, you're attached to name and form. But you say it's not cup, you're attached to its substance or emptiness. So is it a cup or not? 4 ways to answer, okay? Without like this, is this a cup or not? Okay? Become one like this, is this a cup or not? This substance is also this point. It's before thinking. Only like this, is this a cup or not? The cup is white with a black stripe around it. Or the cup is sitting on the table. Just reflect, okay? Then one more step, just like this. You and cup. What is the correct situation, relationship, and function? Is this a cup or not? That's just like this. So in our practice and teaching, fundamental is attaining this point. Then reflecting truth and reflecting functions possible. Understanding is easy, but if you can't do it moment to moment, more practicing necessary, okay? We can understand this. It's just like if I explain to you how to swim. Very detailed, very good explanation. But you don't really know how to swim until you go in the water and do it. And just knowing how to do it is totally different than doing it. Then you can say, you know how to swim. Very important, the distinction between intellectual and actually attaining. But because humans have intellect, emotion, and do it, sometimes this intellectual explanation can help when the situation appears and this action or experience connects with the teaching, and then complete, attain, okay? Sometimes you can attain, but you don't understand it intellectually. That's not bad, but we say that's like a mute having a dream. But when it all comes together, boom. But primary is the experience. Anytime you can hear the speech and get it. But if you hear this attached to the speech and don't have the experience, we call that dry cognition. It's like rubbing up against this world with sandpaper. You know, it's not going to really be a benefit to you or others. So you have to practice. Then, very interesting in our school, one more step. We have two kinds of just like this. Subject just like this, object just like this. Subject just like this is, I am the subject of the situation. Or if it's a story about something, you become one with the subject in the story. You are the subject, okay? Then object just like this is different. Object just like this, you don't become one with the subject, with the object in the story, or with the other person in the situation. How do you function correctly in relation to them? Okay, so different subject just like this, object just like this. Here's an example of subject just like this. Is this a cup or not? Oh, when you're thirsty, drink. Object just like this. Is this a cup or not? Somebody's thirsty. Oh, please have a drink. Okay? Object just like this is full bodhisattva action. What is my correct relation to the other? What is my correct situation, relationship, and function to the other? The other like this is also can be bodhisattva action according to the circumstance. If the correct thing is only silence, then that's also bodhisattva action. If the correct thing is, oh, sky's blue, tree's green, that's also bodhisattva action. But this object just like this is very concretely and obviously for the other. Action for the other. Yeah, sometimes you're thirsty, drink, that's also helping all beings. So it's bodhisattva action. Other times it's a greedy mind. But through practicing, we can attain that. So very important. One time we were at a Chinese restaurant in Boston. I was a pretty new student, you know, it was maybe 1978. I think I'd been a student 1 year. Then Sunim was going up to Boston to teach, and the students there took us out to lunch. There were about 8 people. I happened to be sitting right across from Sunim. And during the meal, they brought a new pot of tea, you know. And Sansanim held up his cup, and I went to pour it, but I didn't realize how full it was. And when I went to pour it, the hot tea shot over his cup and went on his hand. And it was really hot because they had just brought it to the table. And he put the thing down and he went, oh. And of course I felt bad. And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. And he kind of ignored me. He was just like, oh. Then, you know, I poured it in his cup when he wasn't holding it and then passed it around. Then later in the meal, he had picked up the pot and was pouring in everyone's cup. And when he got to me, my cup was on the table. I held my hand up and he just stopped, looked at me and said, not possible, and poured it into my cup. You know, I was saying like, okay, I poured it on you, you poured on me. But that kind of conscious revenge, he said, not possible. And then he poured it in there. That's our true nature functioning. Not tainted by my I, my, me. So if we attain these 6 kinds of like this, moment to moment, that's called prajna or wisdom. That is great love, great compassion, the great bodhisattva way. So everybody practice hard, attain our true nature. Then moment to moment, we can reflect this world as it is, then function in a way that brings benefit to all beings, not dependent on my idea. Naturally, it will appear natural if we attain this point, cut off our opposite mind.